Wait, you keep these creatures as pets? The alien students stared wide-eyed at the hologram of a massive feline with teeth as long as their fingers and eyes that gleamed with predatory intent. Xena, a student from the planet Tarian, with pale silken skin, was the first to speak. That is madness. Surely you're joking. Captain Daxon, their human guide, grinned the way humans often did when something amused them. No joke. That's just a lion, one of Earth's more majestic predators. There are worse. Worse? Murmured Vakro, his green-tinted scaled head swiveling toward Daxon. His voice betrayed a nervousness uncommon among the Yorak people. Like most of the alien delegation, he had assumed humanity's reputation as a death world species was exaggerated. Now he wasn't so sure. Yeah, worse. You see, humans had to figure out ways to live alongside these animals, keep them at bay, and even study them. Earth isn't a peaceful planet. We didn't become the top of the food chain by birthright. We earned it. Daxon tapped the display and the lion vanished, replaced by a much larger creature. This, he continued, is a bear, specifically a grizzly. They're massive, fast, and not the friendliest neighbors. They've been known to tear into just about anything when provoked. He chuckled at the collective flinching of his audience. You wouldn't want to run into one in the wild. Rag, a towering Mavian with quills running down his back, cleared his throat. And you coexist with such beasts. What stops them from devouring you? Knowledge, Daxon replied matter-of-factly. And boundaries. We've learned how to avoid provoking them, how to respect their space, and when necessary, how to defend ourselves. Gel twitched. Defend? You mean you engage in combat with these creatures? More often than you'd think. Not intentionally, of course. But when there's no other choice, yeah. Daxon's smile remained steady. But it's not just about fighting. It's about managing ecosystems, understanding predators, and knowing when to stay away. The hologram shifted once more. This time, a creature appeared that made the air in the room feel colder. A massive crocodile with rows of razor-sharp teeth and unblinking eyes. Its armored skin rippled as it came into focus. And that, Daxon continued, is one of our oldest predators. A crocodile can wait motionless for hours, sometimes days, just to ambush its prey. It's been around since the time of our dinosaurs. The class sat in stunned silence. For many, the thought of living on a planet where creatures like these roamed freely was terrifying. Several students exchanged nervous glances, their assumptions about humanity beginning to crumble. Gil raised a trembling hand. How do your people ensure these animals stay confined to certain areas? Surely the risk of attack is constant. Well, Daxon said, that's where things get interesting. It's not just about walls or fences. It's about surveillance, technology, and understanding behavior patterns. We have experts who track these animals, study migration routes, and avoid conflict. But it's never guaranteed. Never guaranteed? Varek's eyes widened further. So you live with the constant threat of attack? Daxon shrugged. Sort of. You get used to it. Besides, that's not the worst part. The worst part? Rag echoed, his voice tinged with disbelief. Yeah, the worst part isn't even the animals you can see coming. Daxon tapped the display again, and the crocodile vanished. In its place appeared a much smaller creature, a mosquito. It was minuscule compared to the predators they'd been shown, almost laughable by comparison. But Daxon wasn't laughing. This little thing, it can kill millions. Diseases spread by insects like this have been some of humanity's biggest challenges. Sure, the predators are scary, but the small ones, they're the deadliest. Varrock blinked in disbelief. This tiny thing is more dangerous than your predators? Daxon nodded. Exactly. You can run from a lion, maybe even fight it off. But a mosquito? You wouldn't even know it was there until it's too late. That's what it means to live on a death world. Danger isn't just teeth and claws. It's invisible. It's everywhere. Gil's breath hitched. The casual way Daxon spoke, as if these lethal threats were mere background noise to human life, sent shivers down his spine. "And you thrive on this planet?" "We do," Daxon said, his voice tinged with pride. "We had no choice. You either adapt or get wiped out. We chose to adapt. Now, we even study these creatures, learn from them, and sometimes, we keep them as pets." His grin widened, but the students no longer found it amusing. Daxon wasn't done. He let the mosquito's image linger a little longer, watching the students squirm, before tapping the display again. This time, an 8-legged creature appeared, a spider, with rows of eyes gleaming in the dim light. "This," he said, "is a funnel web spider. Its venom can kill in minutes, and they're common in some parts of Earth." Gel's hands gripped the edge of his seat, knuckles pale. You run into these creatures?" "Oh yeah," Daxon nodded. "In certain regions, people have to check their shoes before putting them on. You wouldn't want one hiding in there, trust me." Rag's quills bristled. "This is madness. How do your people survive in such an environment? You must live in constant fear." Daxon chuckled softly. "Fear? No, not really. It's just normal for us. You learn the signs, how to avoid them. It's a dance, really." The class sat in stunned silence, trying to comprehend the casual way humans lived alongside lethal creatures. For them, death worlds were horror stories, places no intelligent species could survive. Yet here was Daxon, explaining Earth as if it were no more dangerous than a rainy day. Barak leaned forward, his scaled brow furrowed. "But what about control? Surely your governments do something to keep these beasts away from your homes and cities?" "Sure, we have wildlife management programs, conservation areas, and sometimes, when necessary, we relocate animals that wander too close, but you can only control so much. It's not perfect. Some animals thrive no matter what barriers we put up." Gil raised his hand again, trembling. "But why allow such dangerous creatures to exist? Wouldn't it be better to eradicate them? It sounds reckless." Daxon gave him a long, considering look. "We could. Maybe. But that's not how we do things. Every creature has a role to play. Mess with the balance, and you might cause more problems than you solve. Take out the predators and suddenly you've got a whole new problem. Overpopulation, ecosystem disruption." Varric tilted his head. "So, you risk your lives to maintain balance?" "Pretty much," Daxon replied, smiling again. "We learned the hard way what happens when you ignore the balance."